I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 126, A Spark of Desire. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure, truly a pleasure to be here with you. I always look forward to the times that I get to talk with you. I like to think about who I'm talking to, who's listening all over the world. I hope you know, as I'm recording, as I'm prepping, as I'm planning, I hope that you feel a big hug from me. So much love from me to you. I know that this space is so hard to be in. I know that you never wanted to be here. And I just am sending you all the love in the world through this podcast. I hope you feel it. So I just opened a new program. It's kind of a spin-off of my No 190 program. There's a lot of things that are similar, a few differences, but anyway, it's called Get Your Life Back After Infidelity. We started on September 25th, which was just recently. By the time this comes out, I think it'll be about 2 weeks. Anyway, it has been amazing. We're in full swing. It's an amazing, amazing group with just amazing women who are from all over the country and even the world. Got some international clients in there. Now, in meeting with people who are interested in joining the program, I heard a theme over and over again. And before I get to that, I just want to say, if you're listening to this and going, oh my gosh, it already started, I was thinking about joining that, just know lots more information is coming out that will make it easier for you to learn about the program, to plan on joining, things like that. I am now opening up 10 spots for the group to be opened in the beginning of November. So if you are interested in hopping into the group, a group of 10 will be joining at the beginning of November, and you can be one of those people. So go to the show notes, grab your spot, okay? But back to what I was saying, in meeting with people who were interested in joining the program, I heard a theme over and over again. The theme was about not even knowing if they want to try after infidelity. I heard things like, my husband is doing all of the things, he's checking all the boxes, but I just feel different about him, and I don't know if I ever will get it back. I don't know if I can ever look at him the same. I don't know if I can ever respect him again. I don't know if I even love him. Or I know I should stay and try for the kids, but I resent so much that he brought this huge, painful thing into our lives. Or I know I want to leave. I have for a while, but I feel guilty, like I should at least try. If you're listening, I am guessing that you have felt one of those things, right? You probably have, right? Many of those women joined my program, and I'm working with them now. And even after we have worked together for a while, sometimes thoughts along these same lines pop back up. And I want to tell you where I take my clients and what I want to help you with today. I take them back to desire, which is their innermost knowing of what they want and what they're meant for. You may be listening to this podcast and going, but what if I don't even know what I want? This, my friends, is so common. Why? Because many of us have been lost for so long. Our whole lives might have been built around what we can do for other people, what we can do for our spouses, for our children, for our community, all the things. It's all, what can we do for others? Many of us were not taught to really think about what we want and to honor what we want and to put it first, even, heaven forbid, right? To put it first above other people's wants. So for many of us, when we think about what we want, we have no idea. When we think about deeper desires, like, what's that? I haven't thought about that in a long time. If you've been around here for a while, hopefully you have, right? I talk about desire a lot. Hopefully you have. But for a lot of people, they have no idea, no clue, right? And often the infidelity feels like an identity crisis because the things that we have identified as a wife, a mother of this family, right? Outward facing. This is what all these people think of us. That becomes our identity. That's who we think we are, right? And so when that all blows up, it can be really easy to go, oh my gosh, who even am I? Who am I? I have no idea. So to start looking at what our desires are, we have to go back in time. And we also have to go ahead in time. And I'm going to tell you why this matters. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to this piece of desire, okay? But first, I want to talk about marriage. I am going to be so open and honest with you and tell you something pretty personal. And again, if you've been around here for a while, you know that I am pretty open. I try to be pretty open. There's some things I don't share to protect my kids, to protect, different relationships. But I feel comfortable telling you this because I would only not tell you to protect myself, and I'm okay putting myself out there, okay? When I decided to get divorced, there was no desire left to fix it. I don't know that I've ever said it quite that blatantly before. I was so exhausted. I was so tired. I had been married for 16 years and there was deceit from the very beginning. There were problems from the very beginning. There was a lot of walking on eggshells. There was a lot of wondering what was wrong. There was a lot of feeling like I must have been wrong in some way. I must be wrong in some way because this marriage is freaking hard. And if I were better, then he would want to be nicer to me. He would want to be kinder. He would want to try harder. And I spent so much time in therapy trying to fix myself, trying to understand what was going on. I brought him in and he hated it and was very unkind about it, about going, and said lots of harsh things about it a lot of the time. And it just was such a struggle. It was so hard. And there was often tension in the home. Just this morning, my daughter called me, who is 20, telling me how she just feels like she has this sense she can pick up on people's moods so fast and that it very much affects hers. And she's really working on that right now. And she said, Mom, I know that I got that from Dad. I know that I did. I know that I learned from a young age what was going on and when he was in a bad mood and when he was in a good mood. And I kind of put my guard up or, acted accordingly. And she's really trying to overcome it. But I often did the same. Like I often felt like I was walking on eggshells. And so 16 years in, when I was really faced with, like, things had really hit the fan. And I think I've mentioned before, but there were a lot of factors besides just all the deceit. There was also untreated mental illness. There was a lot of stuff. And when I came to that point where I really needed to decide, yes, I was praying harder than I've ever prayed in my life, like for guidance, for help, because I knew so much was on the line. I didn't want to get divorced from the standpoint that I hated so much the thought of my kids having divorced parents. It was grueling. I hated it. And I wanted to fix it for their sake. That is true. But if you would ask me at that time, just Andrea, I was ready to be done. I was ready to leave. There was so much damage done. I was so exhausted, just so tired. And the other piece that's crucial is that, in part, that made me so tired was that he had no interest in really doing the work required to be a good partner and to be trustworthy. And so at that point, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I guess I could have, but if I am honest about where I was at, I did not have a desire to really fix everything. It was kind of dead at that point. And so when I really felt that peaceful feeling that it's okay, Andrea, you can let go. You don't need to do this anymore. And really started to listen to myself and listen to what I wanted. I felt so relieved, so relieved. I have a very vivid memory of paddling my way out to the middle of a lake on a kayak by myself, just myself on the water. And I remember bawling my eyes out, just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And it's not what you think. It was not tears of grief and loss, although I had plenty of those. That particular cry session was gratitude. I was so grateful that I didn't have to do it anymore. I was so grateful that I had done everything. I knew that I had done everything that I knew how to do, and that I could set it down. And what I could say now, that honestly, it may be hard to hear, and some of you may judge me for, and I'm okay with that. I know wherever you're at, this is going to land differently for you. But the desire just wasn't even there anymore to do everything required to make it work with him. And why am I sharing this with you? Because I talk to people all the time, and I just talked with lots of people in preparation for opening up my group. And I see a theme. Sometimes people think that they need to stay, but it's completely for other people. It's for their spouse, it's for their children, but there is no spark of desire within them. That spark is dead and gone. Sometimes I meet with people who do have a spark of desire. They just don't know how. They're like, how will I ever see him the same? How will I ever be able to not see this as a big black mark on our marriage? I do want this to work. I do love him, but how, right? Or people who really know, they know that it's over and done, and they even have a desire to leave, but they're in denial of it, and they're arguing with it, and they're making themselves wrong. But that spark of desire is outside the marriage. It's leaving the marriage. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you because something that I believe is that anything is possible. I think that humans have a remarkable capacity to heal, to grow, to change the way that we think, to change the very nature of what our thought processes are, how we go about things, how we create things in our life, how we view painful events of the past. I believe that we are capable of so much. But what it comes down to for me as a coach is there a spark there? Just a spark. I'm not worried so much about if you don't know the path before you. So what? I'm not so worried about if you're afraid, if you are so in pain that you can't fathom not ever being in pain. What I care more about is tapping into your spark. You've got it. You've got some spark of desire in you. And guess what? That's all that's required. Just a spark. A spark. Barely a flicker in the dark, right? That might seem like it's just going to go out so fast. But that's all that's required. Just a spark. If you're listening, I want you to ask yourself where your spark is. Where is it? If you've got a spark of possibility in growing and healing the relationship that you're in, it's good enough. It's good enough to help you to move forward, to learn how to grow your ability to change the narrative of the story you're telling, to process all the heavy stuff that you're carrying, to learn to see your spouse in a way that is sustainable, to learn to integrate all of the pain into the whole. All of these things are possible. Yes, so much lies in him and what he chooses to do. and how he honors the spark in him, and if he's willing to use that spark to change his own life, to step into courageous actions that will create change and trust in the things that you need to see, right? Here's what I can promise you, though. There's no downside to following your own spark. There is no downside. There is no time lost. There's no wasted space. Because what you're doing is you're honoring yourself. Let's say, for example, that you know that you love your spouse and that you know that you do have a spark to make it work, even if you can't see it yet, even if you have lost so much respect, even if all of that is real, that you have a spark. Let's say that you go all in on that and you trust it, and you trust that there's something here for me. There is growth here for me. This is where I'm meant to be. If you just trusted it and started to take action forward. For you to stand in your marriage as the person that has the kind of marriage that you want, it requires a lot of growth of you. That is never wasted ever, no matter what our spouse chooses to do. All of that growth gets to come with you. You don't check it at the door. If you down the road go, you know what? We want different things, and you choose to leave, all of that comes with, and your spark comes with. And you'll know, and your spark will lead somewhere else. Or that spark will grow and flourish where you are, and you will create something together that is beautiful. Some of you who don't have that spark towards your spouse, it's gone. It's just not there. I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. I want you to know it's okay. It doesn't mean anything about you. What if it's just a clue that this is not meant for you, and that there are places where you will turn that spark into a burning flame that is strong and solid and beautiful, and it's just not here? What would change for you if you stopped judging your own feelings, your own desires, and just trusted them and just leaned into them? I believe that desire is the pathway to everything that we want. I believe that desire is God-given. Now, if you're listening, whether you are a believer in God or a believer in universe or spirit, whatever that is for you, I believe that desire is given to us as a gift from our higher power, and that it's also our soul's truth, that it's one, that's unified, that our deepest desires are meant for us, and they become our roadmap to where we can go and what we can have. And that when we learn to listen to just a spark, it doesn't have to be a clear burning light. It can be just a tiny flicker. And sometimes that's all it will be, is just a little flicker. I see it. I feel it. I feel its warmth. I'm going to follow it. Sometimes that's all it is. And it takes great courage to follow it. But I do believe that following it leads to everything that is meant for you. All the good, all the growth. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes that path requires growing our ability to set down the thoughts that continue to hurt us. It does involve letting go of things. It involves forgiving ourselves. It involves letting go of shame. It involves so much. Learning how to step into difficult conversations and holding on to who we are and trusting that the things that we want are good and not backing down from them. So much growth, right? So much to be proud of. So much to respect. And the reason why this matters so much is because after infidelity, for most of the people I talk to, they, one, lose a lot of respect for their spouse, but they also feel so small themselves. So small. I remember feeling that way. I must not matter much. I must not be much for him to choose to do this. I must not be that important. While I know that that is not true, it's easy to go there, and it can feel awfully true. And a lot of people experience a loss of respect for themselves because they feel like this bomb went off and they have no idea how to deal with it and don't necessarily like how they're showing up, but they don't know how to do it different. So then they just are hard on themselves and judge themselves. And of course, they're really hurt and mad at their spouses. And there's just so much pain there, right? When we can just listen to a little spark within us, a little bit of truth, those tiny little sparks, and start honoring them, that's where we start to build our respect back. That's where we start to trust ourselves more. That's where we learn that no matter what our spouses do, we can count on us. That we're no longer living from the outside in, we're living from the inside out. What a gift, right? Okay, my beautiful friends. So to wrap this up, wherever you are, whatever this episode has brought forth to you, however scary it may feel, however hard it may feel, whatever judgments come up in your mind around it, whatever you think other people are going to judge you for, I want you to try to quiet your mind and look for the spark. What is the most true? What is the most true thing? What is your truest desire? Even just a flicker. Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Answering those questions and following that little spark and where it leads you. That's what I have for you today, my friends. I just want you to know, as I am sitting here recording this, I just love you so much. All of you all over the world. So much love for you, for your journey. This is a big journey. It's probably the journey of your life. Know you're not walking it alone. Know that you are not meant to stay here. You are given this trial, this crisis, because you can handle it and you will handle it, and it will become a catalyst for so much growth. You're going to look back and go, damn, check me out. Look how far I've come. Look who I am now. You will look back at the time before infidelity and the time after and be so proud of all that you have done, how far you've come. And it begins with turning inward and really listening. Look for those sparks and follow them. All it takes is a tiny spark. Everything else is possible. Everything else is possible. Okay? Before I go, I just want to say in my program, part of what we do is I teach the how. I teach how to follow those sparks, how to learn the skills. What are the skills and how do I learn them so that I can step toward those desires in a way that is healthy, sustainable, whole, healing, all the things. That's what we do inside the program. You learn all of the skills required to really follow that spark and to create a life that you are so proud of and that you respect, to get the clarity and peace that you are just longing for. That's what we do. That's what I do. That's what I help you with. If you need this kind of support, if you want this kind of support in a group setting with other people who are doing the same work, please don't put it off. All right? This matters. This is the most important work of your life. It makes sense that you would invest in time and money and all the things that you can to help you with the journey of your life. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Okay? If you want to work with me, please go grab a spot. Come talk to me. We'll get you going. So much love. I will see you next time. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.